Hello everyone, welcome to the last installment of the video series for the IEEE robot controller. So in this last video, I'm going to concentrate on this area right here. So we have these two holes. These holes are for the wires to come through to be wired to the controllers themselves. These two holes are for the universal bus bar. This is what's going to tie everything together. The power that we get from the battery pack, and we're going to put those in a bus bar and then tie these wires to the bus bar, and then we can source the power to the actual controls. And this right here, this is for the 9-pin cable connector, so we will put that in as well. Okay, so I'm going to just outline everything and then I'll come back for the dimensions. All right. You can either, I'm going to continue the sketch on here, but you can create a new sketch on this face if you want. I'll just keep it simple and I'll just create a sketch here. Okay, I do know that I'm going to need a construction line. So again, I don't want to tie the construction lines to anything per se. Right now, I just want to dimension against them. And I'll draw in some circles. I will dimension these in a little bit. And I have my reasons for not wanting to tie anything together right now. And it's just because it just makes it a little harder when you do that. So I do know that these need to be vertically aligned. And so I will put in that constraint. And then these two need to be vertically aligned. And let's go ahead and let's make these two, they need to be horizontal to each other. And these two need to be horizontal to each other. So that will make it a little easier when we go in to put in some of our dimensions. All right, so let's grab the dimensions. So holes B, they are 9/64 of an inch. So remember dimension 1, make the other equal. That will make sure your sketches are nice and neat. Okay, let's take a look at, this is hole C. That's 1/16 of an inch. And we have holes E. They are 1/8 of an inch. All right, so let's take a look at some dimensions. All right, so these holes are 1 inch apart and they should be 11/16 away from this edge. So I will put that in. Okay, and let's see what else we have. We're going to make those holes 1 7/16 away from the edge. And then these two holes should be 1/4 inch apart. So let's do that. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to constrain this center hole to that construction line. So I will grab both of those and I'm going to make it coincident. All right, now I'm going to drag that up some because now what I want to do is I want to center these two lines. So let's make that symmetric. And then I'm also going to make that symmetric. And I'm going to make these two lines symmetric. Oh, let me undo that. Let me dimension these first. All right, so let's grab the dimensions. So this is 3/4 inch, that's 13/16. So let me dimension that first because I don't want it to get all screwy. This is 13/16. All right, and now let's see what happens if I make those symmetric. Didn't like that. All right, let me move that some. And then let's see if it likes it this way. Okay, so we got that. There is something additional. The overall height should be 3/8 inch. So I will put that in. And the only other thing is, since it's still blue, I need to dimension it against something. I'm going to dimension it against this line right here. So I do know that we need at least 3/8 of an inch between this hole and the battery box. So I will put that in. Okay, so that is constrained. Now these two holes are blue, so let me see what I need to constrain those against. All right, so the center point between those should be this construction line that I have right there. So I will just move those. Let's see if I can move those up. Well, let me. All right, and I'm going to try to make that symmetric. And that is it for that. So everything is fully defined. I just need to clean up my dimensions. I'll clean everything up. And, but in the meantime, we're going to accept our changes. And I'm going to continue with my previous extrusion. And I'm going to extrude and remove all of the areas that we just created. And through all, accept changes. And that is it. Let me zoom to fit so you can see everything. And we have a completed controller. All right, the isometric view. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this for printing. So right click on part 1. We are going to export. And this should be the student's name. Make sure your format is STL. The STL format is binary, units and millimeters, resolution medium, and we're going to download, and then that's it. So if there are any questions, please let me know.